It is Monday, February 15, 2021. I am the coach, and this is the Early Edge powered by SportsLine. We are in your feed before 11 a.m. every single day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Some days are good. Some days are not so good. Sometimes you're on the right guys and the right teams. Sometimes you're not. Yesterday, kind of a rough day for the show. Joey Logano, if you stayed up late last night, leading the race, our pick to win, and Rex on the final lap not to come through. Kevin Streelman, -5. Airmails the green from the fairway on 16, loses by a shot to Max Homa. That was the kind of day it was for us. But, as our leader always says, it's on to the next. So let's bring in our cappers right now. Right below me, he's back. That means we got hoops today. The Zack attack, Zack Cimini. Good morning, Zack.
Good morning, Coach. I'm going with 2 plays in college basketball here shortly.
Let's do it. And the man right next to you, it was kind of bittersweet for you yesterday, M Squared. You had Berger, but then Joey Logano late couldn't get the job done thanks to Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, Berger saved the day for me. I thought we were going to double dip and get both of the outrights, which would have erased that disaster of a Wisconsin game, up 14, and blew that one as well. So overall, came out okay because of Berger, but I'm ready to move on.
I hear you. And then the man right next to us, he's our leader. He's our rock. He's the maestro. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Coach. So close to a 3-0 day yesterday for me, but Pitt gets a technical foul for a guy scoring a basket, and he said, it's a quiet gym, and he goes, and one. And they teed him up, and they end up missing the cover by 1, and he said it wasn't even an aggressive. And, I play rec league ball. I do that all the time.
Yeah.
And they don't tee me up for that. But anyway, still, let's do it. Let's get it today.
Yeah, three bad examples right there of what can happen. But this is the business that we're in. All right, it's time to hit our storylines that could affect the betting lines today. M Squared, let's start with you.
It's sort of a short slate tonight, Coach, but we do have a lot of injury news. Victor Oladipo and Russell Westbrook. So we got a key player out on both sides of that Houston-Washington game. Joel Embiid is questionable for the Jazz. He's kind of carried that questionable tag quite a few times this season, but that's something to keep an eye on this afternoon, as that'll certainly impact that line. Mike Conley remains out on the other side for the Utah Jazz. For the Indiana Pacers, Doug McDermott has popped up on the injury report. Wendell Carter Jr. is questionable to return for the Chicago Bulls, while Otto Porter, Lauri Markkanen still remain out there. And then for the Clippers, they're dealing with some injury news. Paul George is still out. Kawhi Leonard did not play last night. They're on the second night of a back-to-back. I think he probably will end up playing in this game, but something to keep in mind. And then finally, Andre Drummond. There are trade rumors circling with him. He did not play last night. He is listed as probable tonight against the Warriors, but definitely something to keep an eye on this afternoon.
All right, very good. Now, Zach, I know you're on a couple of things. Tonight, what are you looking at, sir?
I'm just going to focus on the Brooklyn Nets. We saw this earlier in the year when they blew out the Warriors to start the season. They just blew out the Warriors once again. The first time, Kyrie Irving was the one that missed a big stretch. Now Kevin Durant is ruled out at the minimum next 2 games with a hamstring injury. So I think you can look at the lines. Maybe there's going to be something similar that happened earlier in the year where they lost 4 or 6 games. And they're still on a West Coast road trip. That's something to keep in mind. All 4 games, Monday through Sunday, are still on the West Coast.
All right, we will certainly keep that in mind. They looked really good with all 3 guys in the lineup Saturday against Golden State. They were absolutely on fire, and we got to see how good they can be together. Okay, before we get to our slate of games on our board today, we've got to give away 5 free year-long subscriptions. I know there's a lot of you out there watching right now saying, Coach, tell me who won. Okay, here are the 5 winners that you all entered last week. Quickly, Trox Fuzz, Jonathan Sermo, Joe Zeus 52, The Real Monty, and JW Gold 43. We will reach out to you, DM you on social media, and make sure we take care of that for you. Now, this week, we're going to be giving away 5 more. The simulations, the cappers, you get access to all of it. Now, all you have to do is go to Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review. In the review, write down your pick to win the NBA Finals this season. Now, you must leave your Twitter handle so we can contact you. But that's all you got to do, and you get a free long subscription if you do that, and we pick your name next Monday. Okay, it's time to get to our board right now. And you know what? First, let me do the SportsLine play of the day. Let me do that. We're going to go to the NHL. 7 Eastern, drop the puck. Matt Severance has been absolutely on fire, 31-8 in his last 39 NHL money line picks. And tonight, we're going with the Lightning, -160 over the Panthers. The Lightning at less than -200 at home. We're going to take it all day. you got to understand that hockey is a little bit different than others. You lay the 160, you're going to be just fine. All right, M squared, it's time for you. Give it to me.
Yeah, Coach. First play for me today is going to be back to the Indiana Pacers. I like the -5.5 against the Chicago Bulls. I know that I mentioned Doug McDermott is popped up on the injury report here. That's the reason why this line isn't -6.5 currently. However, my simulations make it -8.2, massive edge there. Not concerned at all if McDermott doesn't play, because that will force Sabonis and Brogdon into bigger minutes, which is when I think they're at their best. The issue with that is it's just not sustainable for them long term. But we like it in one spot, particularly this spot tonight. Also look for TJ McConnell to continue to play upwards of 29, 30 minutes in this spot. I like him a lot. I like the way he's playing off the bench for them. So give me the Pacers -5.5. And then my second play is going to be the Atlanta Hawks. You can get this game -1.5, -2 against the New York Knicks. Atlanta's coming off back-to-back really poor performances. I think this is an excellent get-right spot for them. I like the way they match up with this Knicks team, especially with Mitchell Robinson out for the Knicks. That's going to create some problems as they have to deal with John Collins and Clint Capella down there. So give me the Hawks -2. I make this game -4.7 in my simulations. I think the SportsLine app makes it all the way up to like -10. So pretty big edge here on the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, M squared. The SportsLine model actually covers 70% of the time for Atlanta. So they really like Atlanta as well. All right, Zack Attack, time for you, pal. Go ahead.
I'm going to go off the radar here with the first play on USC Upstate -1 over Presbyterian. I wish it was 2.5 like it was yesterday, but I'm still going to roll with it here. Where I like the value here, the Big South Conference, believe it or not, their conference play is over at the end of the week. So USC Upstate has 3 games left. Hasn't been a good year for them, just 4 wins, but I think these teams in smaller conferences that are off to a bad start, they try to finish off the year strong. This is an in-state matchup against Presbyterian. Both teams are from South Carolina, and USC Upstate is going to finish the year with 7 of their final 8 games on the road. So I think that's why that opened as an underdog, and we saw the line shift there. The second play is Florida State. Pretty much a pick 'em. We'll take money line here against Virginia. We saw Virginia probably come off their best win of the year against North Carolina on Saturday. Really played well to beat that spread of -6. But Florida State, they are a ranked team. They're coming off an overtime win against Wake Forest, and they have the size and skill set to just disrupt a Virginia team that's just 1-2 this year against top 25 teams. And that one win was against the Clemson team that kind of looks like a downgraded win now. And let's not forget, Florida State will have a minimum of 3,000 fans in attendance.
It makes all the difference. Even if it's 3,000, it makes a difference. All right, it's time for the Maestro, who has been on absolute fire when it comes to college hoops. Maestro, what do you got for us here on this Monday?
Coach, let's start off in one of my favorite conferences, the OVC. We faded Tennessee Tech last week when SIUE beat them big, and now we're going to take Eastern Kentucky and lay the 8 against Tennessee Tech. Tennessee Tech is 3-19. They did come off a win off another bottom feeder in the conference, but Eastern Kentucky, one of the better teams in the conference, 14-5 against the number last 19 road games. I think they get it done, lay the 8. And then in the NBA, you know, Utah, some point they're going to cool down. I just don't know when it is. Everyone thought the Bucks coming off a loss, going to Utah, the Bucks as an underdog. What happened? 129-115. In fact, Utah has won 12 straight home games, the last 11 by at least 11 points. I got it at 6.5. It's up to 7 now with Embiid questionable. I'm pretty sure he's going to play. But still, Utah so deep, playing so unselfish, so much joy. Just love watching them play, and I'll lay it with the Jazz.
You know, sometimes it's all about the numbers and breaking it down, but sometimes it's about looking at what they're doing and just writing it until you can't write it anymore. And that's what the Jazz have been. They have been absolutely incredible. All right, it's that time of the show. Grab your paper, grab your pencil. Time for the recap. M squared likes the Pacers -5.5 over the Bulls. That's a 7 Eastern tip. Then in a get-right spot, the Hawks -2 against the Knicks, 7:30 Eastern tip. SportsLine model has Atlanta covering 70% of the time. Zach has USC Upstate -1 over Presbyterian, and then Florida State on the money line over Virginia. That covers in our simulations 56% of the time. Then the Maestro, he likes Eastern Kentucky -8 over Tennessee Tech, 7 Eastern tip there. And then the Jazz, keep riding them until the wheels fall off, -7 over the Sixers. That's a late tip, 9 Eastern. And our SportsLine app play of the day in the NHL, the Lightning -160 over the Panthers. Again, that from our guy, Matt Severance, who is 31-8 in his last 39 NHL moneyline picks. You've got your marching orders. Enjoy the day off. If you've got your kids, do something with them. And then let's take every single bet straight to the pay window. For M Squared, for Zack Attack, for the Maestro, for Chief, for the Jeweler, I am the coach. This is your only place every single time for your daily early edge. Good luck.